Let's talk about how do you find your true, authentic singing voice in 2023? One of the biggest questions that I get from my clients. And today I'm going to share three very simple ideas that's really changed the way that I see it and also helped a ton of my students as well. So grab some coffee, grab some tea. We are going to be tackling this together. And also make sure to stay right to the end because I'm going to share a very simple exercise that's going to tie all these three ideas together for you. So idea number one, shift your mindset. Because here is the thing, your voice or your true authentic voice does not magically appear. Most beginners, or even when I first started learning how to sing, we have this kind of belief or maybe this idea that, if I just did this one exercise, or if I did this kind of magical vocal exercise, I would just magically stumble into my true authentic voice. And then it's all happy days for them. But I want you to shift your mindset because with most of my students that I work with, this is not the case. It's very unlikely that you'll stumble into this kind of perfect voice or your own authentic voice in the matter of one exercise. What really happens behind the scenes is there's this constant exploration, there's constant discovering of new parts of your voice, new tools, new colors for yourself that when you kind of mold them together, you keep refining your true authentic voice. Think of it like a painter. Painters don't necessarily create the best work or create their own original work from just painting once. They do it again and again and again, and they're constantly refining, they're finding new colors, new techniques, new ideas. And once they've explored this for some time, they then find their own true, authentic style. And I found this to be true even for myself. I've started producing a lot of originals, a lot of music, and I'm at the stage where I'm exploring all these different styles, from R&B to, acoustics to, rock songs. And I found that each time I produce in a new genre altogether, my voice has to adapt, like my true kind of authentic voice. I have to adapt it. Maybe I have to learn these new nuances, like, working more on the breathier kind of sides of my voice. And so what I've found is, our true authentic voice is not really this one place, right? The way you're going to sing classical is going to be very different to when you sing in rock. But you have this really awesome kind of core, which we'll talk about in tip number 2, that we come back to again and again. And how I share this with my students is, you basically have this voice now where, if you wanted to sing strong, if you wanted to sing breathy, if you wanted to sing with vibrato, and you wanted to use that to convey a certain emotion, you can now do this. I think that's really the true meaning of finding a true, genuine voice. You've literally built it in a way where you can do whatever you want to do. By the way, team, if this is your first time on this show and you don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher based in Australia, and I've served clients all over the world, from beginners to professionals, and I help them improve their voice in the simplest and easiest way possible. And in fact, this is what we do on this show as well, making learning how to sing as simple and as easy as possible. So if this is up your lane, make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that follow and that bell notification so you get access to our episodes every Thursday or Friday, depending where you're from. And if you want to fast track and improve your singing even further, check out some of the links in the description. I've got some self-study courses and ways to work with me privately over Zoom as well. Now, tip number 2, nail the fundamentals. And I really mean it. Nail the fundamentals. And the reason why I say this is when I first started my singing journey, I would hyper focus a lot on how do I sound like me? How do I make sure my voice sounds authentic? How do I make sure it sounds genuine? And I know for a lot of you watching this video, you're in the same boat. But here's the thing. What I realized is this is not the most productive question. For a lot of us, when we first start off our singing journey, the better move or the thing that's going to get you to move faster towards this goal is you want to make sure you nail the fundamentals first. Like you can't sound like yourself, or you can't sound genuine to yourself, or you can't find your own true singing voice if you can't even sing on pitch, or if you can't sing on time, or if you can't sing with a clear, easy sound that's not strained. Like you can't do that, right? It's going to be a bit of an obstacle, a bit of a distraction to yourself. And so really nail the fundamentals. This is why I've actually even created a course called The Fundamentals of Singing to help you all nail these fundamentals step by step. And I find that when you do nail these fundamentals, it allows you to tap into what we said earlier, tap into your genuine intent when it comes to singing, right? Which means, if you wanted to sing a high note, because you've nailed these fundamentals, you've got high notes. If you wanted to sing breathy, because you've nailed these fundamentals, you don't sing breathy and strain. You've got these choices, these colors that you can access depending on your genuine intent. Now, the last tip here, tip number 3 is sing more. Now, I know this is dead obvious, right? If you want to get better at singing, you actually got to sing more. But I find that a lot of singers don't do this. I find that a lot of singers are what I would call vocal exercise nerds, which means we would go through the internet, we'll scout every single vocal exercise, and we'll make sure we do it. We do it 100 times. We do it for countless hours. And this actually used to be me as well. I literally spent hours doing vocal exercises and not singing songs. But here's the thing: you don't actually need more exercises. You need the right exercises, the ones that are tailored to your voice and the ones that are actually going to improve with your voice. Now, for example, even when I'm working with my clients over Zoom, I find that I don't give them a lot of different exercises. There's only like 3 to 4 exercises that are quite fundamental to building your voice that we do. And of course, we tailor them. We try to challenge each week. We try to improve it every single week. But once they've done these 3 to 4 exercises, the focus then becomes on song work. How do you apply some of the things that we've learned in our exercises, some of that training that we've done into your song? We'll jump straight into recording. We'll jump straight into, building the artistry, because, if you want to sing better, you got to sing. You actually got to sing. You can't just be doing exercises and expecting your voice to sound like you or to sound great all of a sudden. You have to do those exercises and you have to explore your voice. So these are the 3 main ideas that's really helped me and my clients. And as promised, I mentioned earlier that if you stay to the end, there'll be a bonus exercise that ties it in all together. So well done for staying all the way to now. And so the exercise is this. I want you to create 3 song maps. Now, I do cover this a bit more in detail in my courses or my private lessons, but the idea here is really, really simple. You pick a song, you pick a performance, and you get the lyrics on one side of the page. You get all the lyrics on one side of the page, and on the right-hand side, you will have like a notes column. And what you want to do is you go through each line individually, one line at a time, and you want to break down all the details and nuances. The goal here is to hear colors, details that you might have never heard before if you just skim through the song. Now, why is this really, really important? This actually ties in some of the ideas that we talked about earlier. The first thing is your voice doesn't magically appear. Your style, your own kind of genuine kind of interpretation doesn't just magically appear. Usually it's because you pick things up from your favorite singers. And so this idea of a song map is going to fast track this, because we're really going to go and do a bit of active learning, deliberate practice, and we're going to break some of your favorite singers down. The other part is it's also going to encourage you to sing more, and sing more in a way that's deliberate. Because once you have the lyrics on one column, you've got the notes where you're breaking down each line. Are they going breathy here? Are they going stronger here? Are they maybe pulling back or adding a bit of vibrato? All these little details. Then the last piece of the puzzle is you want to execute. So you try to sing that line and you just compare it to your notes. Okay, that first line, did you have that vibrato? Did you sing stronger? Did you emphasize those words a bit more? This is going to build your control as a singer and not just as a vocal exercise nerd. And so for those of you who are genuinely interested in wanting to find your own unique sound, find your true voice, or even just become a better singer, do 3 song maps and do them from the top to bottom. And yes, it's going to take time, but I promise you the learnings that you'll have from just doing these 3 song maps is going to show you so much about your own singing. So team, that is a wrap. If you found value from this episode, all I ask is share this show with a friend or a family of yours so we can spread the word and we can grow this community together. And if you're someone who also wants to improve your voice even faster without the headache, then consider checking out my course, The Fundamentals of Singing, down below, or even ways to work with me privately over Zoom. And you might be thinking, like, why should I even purchase a course, or why should I kind of work with Ivan privately? The reason is very, very simple. These videos are really, really useful, but the thing that's going to help your voice improve even faster is number 1, structure. Having a step-by-step approach, and number 2, having immediate feedback. Someone to be there right there when you are doing something to give you feedback on whether you're doing it right or do you need to tweak something. That's going to be a game changer in terms of how fast you improve. So links are down in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. My name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher from down under in Australia. I'll see you for our next episode every single Thursday or Friday, depending when you're joining me from. So take care, team.